I'm here today to talk about my favorite thing, which is food as medicine, and not just any medicine, but a special medicine for your gut. And today we're going to have a really interesting guest to talk about something you might have heard about a lot called bone broth. Bone broth, what is it? What's it for? Who cares? Why should you use it? Are they all the same? And I'm super excited to talk about it because it's something I've used a lot in my own health and my practice, and has helped many, many patients heal all sorts of problems, especially gut health issues. So I'm all about the gut, and let me see if I can get Alyssa Seeland on, who's from FOND Bone Broth. She's the CEO of FOND Bone Broth. She's a Lyme disease warrior. She's a mother of 5, and her passion is really helping others get healed. She calls FOND Bone Broth the little jars of healing, which I think is really great. And she's experienced how it's healed her personally and wants to share the healing with others. So let me see if I can get her on and see if she's around. Let's see, there we go. Accept. I think it'd be a miracle if it does. Almost never works first time. So let's see, I might have to invite her. I think I know I have to invite her as not on Bone Broth. So Alyssa, if you're watching, you have to be coming on from FOND Bone Broth.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Hi, yes, I can.
Hi,
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great. Welcome. So, we have a
Thank
mutual
you.
friend, Randall Mays.
Yes,
Loves you, and he's introduced me to Fawn, which I have a jar right here. This is it.
I love it.
Actually not backward. This is
Yeah, I
not.
know.
And I'm so excited to have you on and talk about bone broth. You know,
Thank you.
you're a mother of 5. You got a lot to do, right? But
Yeah.
somehow you found the time to be the founder and CEO and create this brand new company to deliver a better bone broth. So, why did that happen? Why were you inspired to do that?
Yeah, so it actually started with a health crisis. And it's one of the reasons I appreciate so much the work that you do, Dr. Hyman, in functional medicine. I had surgery, emergency surgery, just 5 months postpartum. And it was all due to gut issues. I remember saying goodbye to my husband and my first child, just praying to wake up. When I woke up in the post-op, they said, hey, in 6 months, you're going to have another procedure. And I just thought, this cannot be the trajectory of my life. And so I dove into how the body can heal itself, and of course found bone broth right away. Went on a 5-week bone broth diet where I was putting all sorts of things in the bone broth, and of course using only the best ingredients I found at the farmer's market. And it changed my life. I mean, after a 5-week bone broth diet, I felt better than I had felt in my entire life. And so of course it became the thing that I was recommending to everyone, like, you're not sleeping well, drink bone broth. You've got a crick in your neck, drink bone broth. Like, you're not happy in your marriage, drink bone broth, right? Just kidding. But, it became this like thing. And I constantly heard like, wow, it's kind of hard for me to get all these bones together. And then like chicken feet are gross. And it doesn't even taste good by the time I do it. And so I thought, wow, this is a way, I love people. I love to help people. And this was a way that I could really use my gifts and talents to make a difference in people's lives. And so I think it was 100 degrees in Texas in July. And I brought coffee canisters filled with my different flavored bone broths to the farmer's market. And I was giving out broth shots to anyone who would try it, explaining to them the benefits of bone broth for the gut and why the gut is foundational wellness for the body. So that's, it's not every girl's dream to start a bone broth company, but it's certainly my superpower, if you will.
So that's an amazing story. So many people have heard of bone broth. They might think it's supposed to be good for them, but they don't really understand, like, what is it?
Yeah.
And how is it different than soup?
Yeah.
And why is it good for you? And what does it do? And how does it work? I think, give us a little background on that, because I think it's important for them to understand the reason why it's so important to include as part of your regular diet and routine.
Yeah. So, bone broth spans cultures and centuries, right? And so even like Paleolithic man had like bone marrow stored in his meat locker, right, to make soup in a time of scarcity. So why was this happening? Why have people been drinking it, consuming it for centuries? It is such a humble food, which is, I think, why I love it and I gravitate towards it. it is using the bones and the carcass of an animal. So like after you make a chicken, right, you would use the backs and the feet if you have access to them, really any part of the chicken. And you can throw other things in there too, like pig feet, right? Make a really gelatinous bone broth too. Of course, need to source well, cow parts, oxtail, right? And so you brew them, you cover them with water, include vegetables if you want to, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and you slow simmer these bones for 18 hours. And there's some science behind the 18 hours. So that's maximum collagen extraction without moving into degradation, right? So if you go over 18 hours, you can start to actually degrade the collagen. But so what then you do is you strain it out and you drink it. And at FOND, what we do to make it more palatable, like coffee or tea, is just add flavoring infusions that also level up the benefits, right? So one of my favorite flavors that I have like every day is Liquid Light. It's turmeric, cracked pepper, and thyme. And so when you have that turmeric combined with that cracked pepper, you boost the effectiveness of that curcumin 2000%. So, FOND really tries to be that bone broth is the foundation of your food as medicine cabinet. And we just try to make it delicious and you want to actually do it.
And why is it different than other bone broths? Like it's in a jar. It's kind of, there's a lot of protein here. I'm like, just looking at this, it's pretty impressive the amount of protein you get in 17 grams in a jar, which is a lot. Yeah,
so bone broth is good for you. Like, unfortunately,
like 2 of these, you're gonna have a whole meal worth of protein.
I know. Well, protein is important to me, and I think when you look at other bone broths on the shelves, people have heard about bone broth at this point. They know it's good for them. Unfortunately, a lot of options that are currently on shelf, even organic ones, are not good for you. They're not a true bone broth, right? They're a rehydrated powder. They're a reconstituted base, right? Or they have MSG, yeasts, colorants, additives. And so FOND is really the closest to homemade, right? Just like you made it in your home. We follow that same process, stainless steel kettles, no plastic a part of our process. And then we seal it in these glass jars so that it's shelf stable without yucky preservatives or acids. And you can actually see the color, right? Like I think that's something that's so unique about FOND. This is what it looks like. We have nothing to hide, right? This is the broth. And and so the thing that makes us the biggest differentiator though, besides the infusions, is really our commitment to your regenerative proteins. So, I knew when I was starting this company, I could either be a part of like pillaging and plundering and contributing to issues in the supply chain, or we can be part of restoring. Like with every jar of FOND, we can not only heal people, but we can heal the land, right? Just as like bone broth is the foundation of your gut, the soil is the wellness of our earth. And so we have to be thinking about that. And so FOND is the only land to market verified bone broth. That means that every protein that we use has an ecological impact that's verified, right? So think birds, bees thriving, right? Pollinators, help to our water cycle and thriving animals. So
it's so important what you're saying, because as a doctor who's gotten very interested in the source of our food, not all food's the same.
No.
And if you're, for example, getting bone broth from animals that are raised through CAPOs, which are confined animal feeding operations, basically factory farm meat or chickens or whatever the animal is, you're doing such destruction both to the earth. It's harmful to the animals, and within them are all kinds of bad stuff. Like if they're, feeding them all sorts of crap, pesticides, and that concentrates in the tissues. And so you might be thinking you're doing something good for yourself, but there are very, very few regeneratively sourced products on the market, very few. And I think, there now is a regenerative organic certification that's being established. A number of groups are putting it forward in Washington, and I'm helping with part of that. But it's so important. You call it organic, but you're really talking about going a step beyond that, right?
Yeah, beyond organic, regenerative, and that our commitment to that started 2 years ago, right? And so I went out to a farm and I saw the land, pastures that had been pasture raised, regeneratively farmed for 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. And my feet stood on the pasture and I saw the difference. And I took a photo with my iPhone, and you could see the impact. Year one, it was like, okay, year two, it was like, but year three was when you started to really see, wow, I mean, this is transformative. And it was so cool to be able to see that. And so it was like, it became a non-negotiable for us.
Yeah, so it's amazing. You're healing your gut, and you're healing basically the equivalent of the gut of the earth, which is the
Yes.
soil.
Just these
And
little jars. Yeah.
it's great. I think, for a lot of people, I think the getting clean quality protein is really important, and getting things that are going to be helpful. Somebody put, is it safe for ulcerative colitis? It's not only safe, it's essential.
Yeah.
All my patients with inflammatory bowel disease on bone broth, people with irritable bowel, people with gut issues, I found it really, really helpful for me personally when I had gut issues. So, you can just make whatever chicken soup, but there's chicken, there's beef, and right, what are the
Yeah.
different flavors and the different brands you have?
So we have 3 flavors of beef and 9 flavors of chicken. We're continuing to add to our beef lineup, which is fun. But the chicken is everything from lemon, garlic, radish, and onion to the turmeric, cracked pepper, and thyme, like I said. But we also have shiitake, shallot, and sage. We're the only bone broth that I know that has cactus, habanero, and cilantro. So that was really fun to make that one. And, it has a purpose, right? Each ingredient pairing has a purpose. They not only taste good together, but there's obviously something that's happening too, right? At the synergistic level, when things taste good together, our body is able to use them better as well. And so it's fun. It's fun to have so many flavors. Customers have a favorite, right? They gravitate towards different ones. And we are adding a couple of new products this year in October to our lineup that I think customers will love as well. So, but the 9 chicken, the 3 beef, and it provides a lot of variety so that you can be drinking it or cooking with it consistently throughout the day.
Yeah, so you can put it in soups. How do you use it? Put it in soup. You can just make a cup of
Yeah.
it, heat it up, make a cup of it.
Yeah. So I
Right?
start my mornings with a bone broth latte. It's just a little bit of coconut milk, a jar of fond. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll add, like if I'm having a chicken bone broth, I'll add like some bovine collagen in there, just to vary, the amino acid profile. And I will maybe do a little bit more turmeric or something if I'm feeling like it, maybe some fresh thyme, but often I don't need to. And I just have that for breakfast. And like you said, with the protein content, it's really hearty. And then, I'll make pulled chicken or like carnitas. I live in Texas, right? So I get some heritage pork and pour a jar of fond over it and let that slow simmer on the stovetop or in the crock pot. For soups, it's really just becomes a cup for cup ratio, right? And what you would make in any other recipe. One of our customer favorite ways to use it, especially if you're trying to get it into kiddos or people who are just really picky eaters, bone broth rice. It's a beautiful addition to your table. It could not be more easy to use.
You're making rice or grain, you can use that instead of water.
Yeah, and quinoa, it works, and it's super yummy. So we also do, sauces, and like we have a wing recipe, we have a barbecue sauce recipe, we have a salad dressing. There's all smoothies, popsicles. There's all sorts of ways to use it throughout your day. But I mean, for me, really, my go-tos are that sipping in the morning, having it with my lunch, because what's cool about bone broth is as it's healing and sealing the gut lining, it's not only doing that, but it's also helping your body obtain more nutrients from the good food you're already eating, right? And it's super important.
Yeah. Now, someone mentioned that they're a little bit salt sensitive. So what are the best ones of your broths for the salt sensitive people?
Yeah, so we those will be the products that are coming out, right? So I mean, at FOND, we believe in the importance of electrolytes, but we do understand that there's a customer base that, is just not comfortable with the level of salt that's in our product. And so we have 2 products coming out that are going to be for the salt sensitive folks. And it's just listening to that customer feedback, right? Of like, hey, I love your product, but and we love that. We're here to help and here to help your wellness journey. And so product to come.
That's great. That's great. And it's great that you put like spices like turmeric in it and other things that actually also have medicinal properties in them. So you're kind of combining different aspects of food as medicine.
Yeah.
Cool. And when you kind of thinking about your life, because you're a mother of 5, you're CEO of a company, like how do you hold it all together?
I go slow. I think that's something that's funny, right? Like that I used to just rush through the day, Dr. Hyman. I think I would eat at like 4 o'clock. I think I would like pee maybe if I like couldn't hold it any. I mean, it was crazy, right? And I was sleeping terribly and just like running like a chicken with my head cut off. And that's when I had, the Lyme disease
Wow.
activate. So I'd had tick bites when I was younger, no problems, no symptoms. And then during this time of stress mismanagement, had a Lyme disease crisis. I mean, I was having blackout panic attacks. It was so terrible. And so my body had to scream for me to listen. If you're watching this Instagram live, don't get to that point. Start listening to your body now. So what I do throughout the day is, I kind of treat myself like I'm a 5-year-old. Are you hungry? Do you need to get up and walk around? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you need to take a nap? Right. And just, I mean, it's so simple, but it's really powerful. So many of us are just rushing on to the next thing. And at our company, we have a well hour every day, and I can't make people enforce it, but I do give it to them to say, I want you to do something for your wellness for this hour of the workday, right? Like go outside, walk around, make sure you actually eat lunch, do a 20-second meditation, or 20-minute meditation. Just be in that position of listening to your body. And then of course it's food, right? I think if I ate very differently, I couldn't do these things. So one of the things that, and my husband as we've done this together for so many years, it's slow changes that have made a huge impact over time. That it might sound,
do food as medicine in your house? How do you make that happen?
So we start savory in the morning, right? It seems simple, but when you're not giving trust me, when we give the 5 kiddos donuts, our life feels really different, than when we're starting them off with smoothies and sausages. So we do, we eat, pasture raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, protein heavy. And then of course, like fruits and vegetables, like my kids mow through Once Upon a Farms, if you guys know what those are. I mean, just delicious. And they, we also prioritize things like listening to our body. So 2 of my kiddos actually after COVID had asthma. And one of the things that we did for them was help them drink bone broth regularly. I didn't even know this at the time, but our lungs are lined with collagen. So I was like, okay, bone broth to the rescue again. And so when you start offering bone broth regularly, like our youngest started having it as young as 9 months old, it was really, they start to ask for it, right? So when they're not feeling well, can you make me a cup of bone broth? We also do, herbs. I have a mother-in-law.
Kids like it is amazing, right? Kids will drink it.
Yeah, one of our marketing propositions was like, it is toddler approved. Like my kids love it. And I always say, you can't fool the kids and the dogs. If you have a jar of FOND in your house, your dog is going to come over to you and be like, can I have some? And there are some flavors that they can. But yeah, so, we do herbs and homeopathy too, right? Chiropractor twice a week. There are just these things that, we do to try to help our kiddos understand taking care of their body from a young age. And so, yeah, that's what it looks like. But right, food is foundational.
That's very cool. This is shelf stable, right? So it's in a jar. I have it in my house. I have a case of it, and I just keep it there, and it's great. I can open up what I want, and I can, if I open up a little bit, I can put it in the fridge for a bit. So it's great. And I find that, it's one of those things where it's kind of unlike other foods out there because it has a whole set of unique properties that you can't get medicinally in other foods, which is kind of quality of the collagen that helps to heal and repair your tissue. So I think it's awesome. And where can people get it? Can people just get it anywhere?
Yeah, so we ship in the continuous, 48 states, so you can get it shipped to your door. We also are available in just under 1,500 stores nationwide. So if you have a Sprouts near you, if you're in Texas, HEB, but lots of mom and pop shops throughout the country have FOND as well. So just go to our store locator and you might be able to find a store near you. But yes, we do ship to your door as well.
Amazing. And what's the website?
So it's fondbonebroth.com. And we also have a discount for Dr. Hyman's fans. And it's Hyman 20. So
amazing.
Yeah.
That would give you 20% off?
Yep, 20% off. your case of Fond. And we sell them, like I said, in 12 different flavors. So if you're not sure which one to pick, we did recently launch a reset. People are loving that. It's easy. We have these curated variety packs for you where you can just, go in and just say, okay, I'm going to try one of everything, or I'm going to try a couple of the best sellers. So
great. Well, this is amazing, Alyssa. I'm so glad you created this company. We need more healing products out there, and especially that you're supporting regenerative agriculture. That's huge. So really grateful for what you're doing, and I will continue to get my Fond and drink it.
oh my gosh. Thank you, Dr. Hyman. It was a pleasure to be here and to speak with you, and love everything you do. Been a big fan for a while.
Thanks. All right. Well, hopefully see you in person sometime soon. You
Okay. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.